Hello and welcome to episode 112 of the FPL Hangover podcast, where we raise the bar and lower the tone, all things FPL related. We are coming to you on the 4th of May 2021. It is a day later than usual. Unfortunately, we had to put the podcast back a day because a horde of fans stormed the studio. I jest, of course. This was delayed because we were too busy sunning ourselves on the bank holiday weekend that was. But we have loads to talk about. We're going to be looking at that postponement between Liverpool and Man United. We're going to be talking about how my wildcard went, how Paddy got on this week. He's already grinning from ear to ear. And we got a pretty decent drunk tank lined up. So stay tuned. And here to discuss all that with me is my podcast partner in crime, Paddy. How are you getting on, my friend?
I'm great, my friend, and may the 4th be with you.
I did not even think about trying to work that into the intro.
Look, I couldn't be better. You know, I've just ended racism over the last 3 days as well, so I'm happy to be back and speaking with you, Jer.
Yeah, I heard you did the whole social media blackout. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was fine. You know, actually, it was a nice little break, so you know, I didn't mind it at all. It didn't bother me.
I snuck onto Twitter on Friday night just to see like what's the state of social media now that everyone's blacking out, and it was pretty crazy to see, like, you know, oh my god, my time now, we only follow whatever a couple of hundred people or something, but it's like the timeline hasn't been updated in 25 minutes. No one's tweeted.
Brilliant.
I was like, this yeah, exactly.
At least you know you follow no racists.
Yeah, well, that was the point. It was like, let's see who's gonna come crawling out of the woodwork. But you know, it was that, and there was the whole double game week everyone was waiting to announce on the Friday, right. And I was wildcarding, had already hit the wildcard button, so I was glued to Twitter. I was like, oh come on, just give me some confirmation of the Krellin predictions. And yeah, it turned out he had hit the nail on the head. Everything was this way. I felt good about the wildcard, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're looking right in front of you. Sunday comes along, boom, sideswiped by a Liverpool Man United postponement. How crazy was that?
It was fucking nuts. And just going back to Ben Krellin there, like, I felt so sorry for the lad. He, first of all, it came out that he was wrong, and everyone was like, "Oh, fucking Ben Krellin's in the mud. Ben Krellin's in the mud."
Oh, really?
And yeah, and then in a turn of events, it came out that he was actually right. But the social media blackout had already happened by this stage, so Ben couldn't even fucking say, you know, "fuck you." Not that he would do that anyway, but he couldn't actually, you know, post the updated.
I never even saw anything about him being wrong. I just saw the actual. So whatever numbnuts was saying he was wrong, just never bothered to actually check if he was right or not.
Yeah, I think there was it came out. There was there's two tweets. I think the fixtures may have come out a certain way, and then the Premier League site updated them within a couple of minutes or 10 minutes, and it was all Ben was right all along.
Yeah, exactly. And Ben we trust.
Ben never gets it wrong.
No, but as I said, then the whole fucking thing gets turned on its head with the Liverpool United postponement. So God knows what that means.
Yeah, and just to touch on the United thing, being a United fans, you know, I was fully behind the protest. I wasn't behind the hooliganism part of it. You know, I think there's always some people try to do the right thing, and then you get a couple of people ragamuffins that ruin it for the rest. But you know, I am anti-Glazers, and I always will be.
Yeah, I don't think they ruined it for the rest. I think they might have might have tainted a little bit or put a bit of a tarnish on it. But I think Carragher had it right when he was saying on Sky Sports, like, you know, there's always going to be some idiots, and there's always going to be, you know, acts that you're not going to agree with. But I think the vast majority of people agreed with the protest and were kind of happy to see it. I know I was. So yeah, I mean, we'll only see what happens from there. I don't hold out much hope, but I've been beaten down by the world. I'm a cruel cynic now, Paddy. So what about you? You think anything's ever going to change with that? You think Glazers is going to sell?
No, I've heard before that the club's worth like 4 billion, and they are holding out for 7 or 8 billion. So they're never going to sell until they hit that figure, apparently. But you know, we just have to live with it, I guess. Not that us mere mortals can do anything about it, really.
No, all we can do is sit by and start complaining about what this has done to our fantasy team, and boy howdy, and I don't use that word lightly, Patrick, boy howdy did it do some damage this week. Liverpool, Man United, I've seen teams, 7-8 players only got out this week. People with 5 of those 2. Chelsea rotation, obviously a bit of City rotation. Absolute tomfoolery this weekend, wasn't it?
I've seen grown men cry. It was people had 5 players in their team from that fixture. People had captaincies and vice captaincies. There was all sorts of wrecking balls thrown into this game week. Thankfully, I escaped it.
Yeah. What do you make of the... You didn't have much... It didn't affect you too much. Actually, I've been here bladding about the Liverpool United postponement and stuff like that, and I've yet to give you credit for your absolutely top-notch game week score. Go on. Brag to me.
Well, I think I finished the game week 135k game week rank, was it?
Something like that. 130k.
130k. But no, I had a good week. I finished on 70 points. I had like a 105k green arrow, and I'm up to 185k overall, which I'm really happy about.
You absolutely fucking destroyed it this week, and you need to be over the moon with that, no?
Yeah, I'm delighted, man. I've been having like a weird season, like I'm up and down and all, and I can't seem to get out of the 200k mark. Now, I'm not complaining about that because there's people that are stuck and they can't get fucking out of the 1 mil. But yeah, everything, the stars aligned for me. We were talking last week, and I was saying that my move was going to be Cavani to Kane, and I was probably going to captain Kane, and that was going to be my move. But I watched the Europa League game with United versus Roma, and I just really liked Cavani, and I fancied him. I thought he'd be starting against Liverpool, and I looked at my FPL team, and I had Rafinha, who was injured, he wasn't going to play, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give Cavani the nod, and I'm going to actually transfer out a player that needs to be transferred out, not a player that doesn't need to be transferred out. So I put a fire out, as what we call it, and I brought in Gareth Bale, because that way I thought, I already had Son, I have Gareth Bale, I'll stick the captaincy on Son, and that should cover me for Bale or for Kane, and whatever Cavani does is a bonus. And Cavani obviously never got to play, but Bale scored a hat-trick, and Son got a goal and assist or something.
Goal and assist, and some healthy baps to go with that. I think he got the 1. I think Aurier picked up 2, if memory serves me correct, because he got 2 assists. Bale, 21 points, a feckin' hat-trick out of nowhere. No, I said it to herself indoors before I came on the call too. I was like, it's nice to be able to actually appreciate someone's game week score and be happy, because usually if it was the other Langer sitting in that chair, I'd be seething, I'd be fuming that he had absolutely nailed it. But I'm actually delighted. It's gotten your season, it's pushed you up. What did you say? You're up now to 185k, so you're inside the 200k. And you're aiming for like the top 100k now.
I'm 28 points off the top 100k now, and look, I've never ever finished inside the top 100k. As you know, I've only turned semi-professional 2 years ago, so I'm still searching for that top 100k, and this could be the fucking year, man.
Well, I'm going to take a lot of credit for that. I'm going to say that I inspired you, but I am
but
also.
You have. Since I've
told you to get,
and me and you we've had this bond, this fucking energy, and you know what? I get my best ideas when I come onto this podcast. So I
can't take credit. This podcast cannot take credit for your Bale, moment of genius. I'm sorry. I wouldn't have had the balls to knock at Kane in this week. I think you showed some cojones and it paid off, buddy.
Can I just say, it's been a small part of my FPL game that I've been trying to work on anyway, and of course, Bale was the logical move. You can't, it was on paper, but I felt I was covering him by bringing in Bale as well. Bale and I already had Son, so I felt I was covering Kane. But looking at my team, I decided not to transfer out a player that didn't actually need to be transferred out, and I focused on a player that did need to be transferred out.
Yeah, you were saying that was something you were kind of trying to focus on was, work on the fires and just ignore players that don't need to leave your team.
Yeah.
Well, it worked out for you this week.
Yeah, it did.
How are you set for next week? Like, you still have that wildcard now. You must be bringing us back to the Liverpool Man United postponement. Like, you must be looking at that with anticipation, thinking that'll decide when you use your wildcard, basically.
Yeah, the way it is at the moment, we need to hear the news. There's rumors that it's the 16th or the 17th. Don't quote me on that, but that's what they're thinking. I know Liverpool are supposed to be playing West Brom on one of those dates, and I think they might move that, and it's supposed to be United and Liverpool on the 16th or 17th. So at the moment,
Well, I'm just going to clarify that there.
Yeah, clarify it.
In regards to the thing. So basically the options are that the West Brom fixture gets moved into game week 35, so that Liverpool would then have a double in game week 35, and then they would play Man United in game week 36, which would give Man United a fixture in that week. So obviously big changes there. All of a sudden teams with Liverpool and Man United assets Man United assets aren't looking at a blank in game week 36, and Liverpool assets are now looking at a double in 35. That was the original and expected plan, and now it seems what you're referencing, Paddy, is that they're talking about essentially the Man United versus Liverpool match will move to the Monday, May the 17th. Hint, hint, we will be talking about this date later on, just like you mentioned. And West Brom versus Liverpool will stay in 36, which would give Liverpool a single game week in 35, but they would have a double then in game week 36. Man United obviously would also no longer have a blank in that game week. So Ben Crellin, as we've mentioned already, he has said that he was previously 95% sure that Liverpool would double in game week 35. He is now 60% sure that they would double in game week 35 and 40% sure that they would be doubling in 36. So it's a bit of a coin toss, really.
Yeah.
And, my sympathies go out to anyone that wasn't able to follow that, because I kind of, I'm in the same boat. I'm like, we just gotta wait.
Yeah, I thought you done a very good job explaining that. But now I will simplify it down for the 3-year-olds that are listening. Okay, so I've got 2 Manchester United players in my team at the moment, Jer, okay?
Yeah.
Do they have it shows they have a double. Do they have a double?
In game week 35, it shows they have a double.
Yeah.
No, they do have a double in game week 35, yeah.
So cool. So I'm not looking too bad then, because I've got Manchester United with a double. I've got Leicester with a double.
Yeah. Man United will be doubling in 35 either way.
Yeah. And then they may be a part of the blank in game week 36.
That's kind of the thing. And Liverpool may be getting a double. That's the 2 big questions. Like,
yeah.
If you've got 3 to 5 to 6 whatever fucking assets from those teams, you need to wait and see what the fuck's happening before making any rash decisions. And I mean, how many do you have? Cavani, Petty, you have Fernandez. Like, what are you've Jota, you've only got 3, so you're actually not desperately affected by it.
No, I'm very lucky because, and I'll probably roll my transfer this week as well. And I've got the wild card. When the fuck am I going to use my wild card? I don't.
That would be my only just to jump in on that roll your transfer point, is that maybe not. You don't want to lose a transfer, and if you decide to wild card next week, obviously we gotta wait till this week is over. We should know before the week's out what the story with the Liverpool match, Man United match is. So you can wait, but if you roll a transfer and you decide to use the wild card next week, you lose that extra transfer.
That's true. That's true.
Don't freak out. You have this massive...
I won't burn it. I won't burn it, actually. I wasn't thinking like that. See, that's why this podcast saves me. Do you know what I mean? It brings things, and and for the listeners, anyone who's probably was thinking like, the same nearly as me. Anyway, look, let me give you my team, and I don't want to bore everyone with my team, but here, I'll do it kind of very quickly, right? So I'm looking at game week 35. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doublers. I'm feeling pretty fine with that. But my problem is I don't know which. I want to get Salah in. I want Salah in, but I don't know who to lose for him. I don't know who to let go.
Bale or Son would be one of my two.
Yeah, but they're playing Leeds.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the Leeds last few fixtures against the top 6, Leeds have been holding them all to 0-0s, 1-1s, really low-scoring matches. Even in their most recent match this week where they lost to Brighton, it was still a very low-scoring affair. So I don't think Leeds are the same side they were in the opening game weeks of the season. I think they seem to be playing a bit more conservatively, a bit more defensively. So I wouldn't be licking my lips too tightly at that.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, if Liverpool was to suddenly get moved into a double for game week 35, I would have no issue getting rid of Son, even though he's against Leeds. Do you know? So that's the way I'm looking at that.
Well,
on.
How much is Salah?
Salah is 12.5.
Yeah, I can't afford Salah with just one move. So I don't
if you're getting in the likes of Salah, that's when you're doing your wild card. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't need to be fucking worrying about doing one individual move. I mean, this week Liverpool have a nice fixture against Southampton, but they're not doubling right now.
No.
If Liverpool were to suddenly double this week, Paddy, I would be wildcarding if I were you. Do you get me? That's what I'd be waiting for.
Oh yeah, if that news comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll fucking wildcard then. Yeah. At the moment though, looking at my team, I'm kind of content at the minute, and I'm feeling like I've one transfer, but I can't really bring Salah in. And, who would I get rid of? Fernandes, Son, Lingard, Bale, Jota. I have Jota to cover the Leeds game, I think, or the Southampton game. It'd probably have to be maybe my strikers are all got double game weeks.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't overthink it, Paddy. I wouldn't overthink it. Wait till the news comes in. But I would ask you is looking at your team there. You've got Watkins, and one of the big questions this week is like Watkins or DCL. Both of them delivering this week, both returning 8 points. I have DCL. I got him in on my wildcard, and you have Watkins. So, looking ahead to the fixtures, are you happy to be a Watkins owner? If you were wildcarding right now, would you be, looking at DCL?
That's a very good question. I've been glancing over at DCL. I've been glancing over at Iniacho. I've had other fires to put out, so I haven't really touched Watkins. And Watkins in his last 4 game weeks has scored me a lot of points. He's been ticking over 7, 8, 5, 5, 8.
Yeah, he's tipping
away. But it has to run out. And look at that sea of red fixtures. Do I get rid of Watkins and bring in DCL? I don't know. It's all about the money as well. Do I have enough? I do. What's DCL's fixtures like?
Well, that's the thing.
Pretty decent.
Yeah, Everton have a double this week of West Ham and Aston Villa, and Aston Villa have Man United and Everton. So, Everton are going to be playing Villa again. The thing is, for me, what's kind of swung it was DCL switching to, or Everton having Sheffield United in game week 36. But, equal to that, Villa have an away match against Crystal Palace. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to split between the two. For the likes of yourself, unless you were, wildcarding and you could really think about it, I mean, you wouldn't be worried. You'd be going, I'm happy with the one I have. But it's interesting that there is options all of a sudden. The likes of Bamford, his ownership, this week, I think we saw him, was he brought off in the 59th minute this week? Shout out to the FPL General. He'll have loved that one. But I think he was brought off in the 59th this week. Jack shit again. And, people looking to maybe freshen that up and aren't overly convinced by Chris Wood, who yet again delivered this week in another return to form. Burnley did lose, however, to West Ham. And talking of returns, you had Mr. Antonio coming out of the blue there. That was kind of crazy.
There's so many little budget forwards popping up. It's like, it's trying to find the right one, isn't it? Like, who would have thought Antonio just came out of nowhere there? Was he a bit quiet there up until that, or?
Yeah, he was quietly sitting on the injury table.
Everyone was waiting on Lingard to do bits, and then nothing, and then boom.
Yeah, well, Antonio wasn't even like Moyes had come out and said that there was a chance he, could feature, but he wasn't sure. And you know yourself, that usually means that he might come off the bench. I'm not 100% sure he's going to start. But yeah, he came in out of nowhere and 2 goals, 3 bonus points. I mean, crazy low ownership. I actually had a look at it. Currently 4.8% owned, and I'm sure a lot of that is dead teams. So we don't really know, what damage he can do right yet. West Ham have pretty nice set of fixtures, but not, they don't have the double. That's kind of the big thing everyone's looking at now for Game Week 35. They don't have that. They're basically playing Everton next week, and then they have Brighton, West Brom, and Southampton to see them out to the end of the season,
Yes, no, that was brilliant there, Jer. I've had an epiphany. Is that the way to say the word? Yeah.
Epiphany.
I think I know my move. I think I actually know my move.
Go for it.
I think Watkins has to go for DCL.
No, Paddy, stop. Will you?
I think he does, but that's only if I don't get the wildcard news that I'm looking for. Because I don't really want to burn my transfer. I'm looking at Dallas. I'm not getting rid of Dallas. I know they're playing Spurs, but I like the rest of his fixtures. But would you bench Dallas this week?
I'd have no issues benching him.
For a Charlie Taylor against Fulham?
Taylor, again, who's Dallas against Spurs or Taylor against Fulham? Yeah, I'd definitely be playing Taylor ahead of fucking Dallas.
But you know what happens when you bench Dallas?
Yeah, he'll come on and you get 18 points or something like that.
He just rips the ass off you.
If it makes you feel any better, he did get moved back. I think he was playing right back this week. It was a couple of days ago since the Leeds match, but I think he was playing right back this week, and I think Ayling was playing on the right side of his tree. I can't fucking remember. That's what's in my head. Yeah, so he wasn't playing in his usual out of position midfielder role, so that might make you feel better about benching him.
Yeah. Well, no, you've shot me down there. Move. I was thinking Watkins out for DCL. Watkins, as we discussed, is playing United and Everton, and
DCL is
the latter is playing.
You snake. Try to look up the fixtures. The latter, you just Everton are playing
West Ham and Villa.
Yeah, so Villa they're playing each other.
That's not a better double. It's a better double.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you're trying to hit the top 100k. Are you really? It seems like a bit of a sideways move to me. I think that's my issue. Like, I would, if I didn't have Watkins and I was choosing between DCL and Watkins, yes, I would go DCL. But Watkins is on a decent enough run of form. Villa looked really good against Everton, and
DCL hasn't form.
Well, like, he's tipped away. Like, he got a goal this week. It's at 8 points. I'm happy with that. He's just kind of come back from injury, so. I'm kind of looking to capture. It's that Sheffield United match that I was really looking to target. So, maybe if you were deciding to wildcard in a week or so, that's when you could go DCL in for Game Week 36. But I think for the double and stuff, I'd be, maybe looking at moving one of Bale or Son on. But maybe I'm just, I don't know. There's something about having Bale and Son and not Kane that just isn't sitting with me. I'm looking at your team and it's making me feel anxious,
Yeah, I hear you.
But you haven't asked me about how I got on, Paddy.
I was just about to, Mr. 25k. How have you got on?
Well, it was okay. It wasn't. I'm up to 25k now, as you mentioned there. So all in all, Green Arrow, you're obviously going to take that. I got 44 points this week. The average we never mentioned, but it was 39. And game week rank of 2.7 mil saw me push up. I think I was 28k and now I'm up to 25. So a nice 3k rise, nothing massive. I did the old wildcard, as I mentioned. Nothing massive out of that. I had Son, I had Iheanacho, I had Calvert-Lewin. I also had a clean sheet from Sanchez. So no massive, surprises. I suppose the biggest surprise for me is that I went with Ward for Crystal Palace. And he's, I can't believe I have a Crystal Palace player in my team. But I've seen people kind of talking about it and wondering if this is something they should do. They have arguably the nicest double out of the current set of fixtures we have. So is that something you would be interested in, Paddy? Crystal Palace? I mean, just, is it something you would advise as opposed to be interested in?
Come here, look, in my 3 years since I've turned a professional FPL player, I have looked at Zaha before and thought, and I've seen Zaha with a run of 5 beautiful fixtures.
Yeah.
And he's done me fucking no favors. Zaha is a player that, I don't know how to explain him. You have him sporadically for a week and you're not expecting anything of him at all, and he bangs. But I could be saying now, I wouldn't be getting excited about bringing Zaha in for the double and he could fucking light the place up. But no, I will not be going there because the season is running out. Transfers are precious now. Mm-hmm. And I will not be jumping into a Zaha trap for a double game week.
I think that's fair enough. I think Zaha is 7 million. All of a sudden, there's other options for that price. There's a lot of okay mid-price midfielders. But for the likes of Tyreek Mitchell, who had a fantastic game this week, 3.8 million. It's his first start since game week 25. And he, had started off the season pretty well. He'd nailed down that left back, right back. I can't remember which side he is. Left back. He's nailed down that left back role. And 3.8 now. So, the risk is absolutely, or the price is absolutely, bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
You've got someone like him. You've got a Joel Ward, who I went with because I didn't think Mitchell was going to get his place back. He's 4.3. There is defensive cut price options there in the Palace lineup. Would any I know I went with Ward because I think I'm playing the bench boost. I wanted an extra player that I know would play twice, and he's dirt cheap. And I had pretty much one of all the other cheap defenses covered. Brighton, Villa, all that kind of shit. So, I don't know. It's hard to recommend Mitchell. I'd be too worried he'd lose his place. But I know there's a few people who would have had him sitting on the bench as bench fodder, and all of a sudden they're thinking, I might have just got myself an extra player for the game week.
I've just moved him into my team.
What?
I just moved him into the starting lineup.
Oh, was he on your bench?
He's on my bench. If you've got my team there, you'll see it. I just moved him in. I've took Veltman out, who's playing Wolves, and I've stuck Mitchell in there.
There you go. Yeah. See, now it's paying off already.
Yeah, but that I just looked at him, and you know what? I had him in when he was the budget option at the start. I've never got rid of him because what was the point? He wasn't going to get me any fucking anything else. But yeah, I've just put him in the starting lineup for the crack. By the way, Mahrez has just scored his second goal for Man City. Are we still staying away from City players?
Well, this is tonight, is it? He's just scored his second goal. So City are 2-0 up against PSG.
And I'm just reading this tweet off. Just came up, flashed up. Mahrez, whoa, like a fucking whoa. And that was from the cheaters. They just put it at whoa, it must have been a cracking goal. But I don't want us to get too much sidetracked there.
Well, no, I mean, it's definitely on point in a sense, Paddy, because, I mean, as you said, people are looking at City's game week 36 and game week 37. They've got Newcastle away and Brighton away, and then a home match against Everton for the end. So you're thinking, what way are City going to approach it now? I don't know. They've also got an FA Cup final. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that right? They have an FA Cup final?
I haven't a clue, mate. I'm 3 Guinness in.
No.
That was done.
That was done. Yeah, they got knocked out by Leicester, I think. No, Leicester. I can't fucking remember. But either way, they have the Champions. They're going to have the Champions League final.
Yeah, the Champions League. That's what's lingering on the back of your mind. But you know what? Oh, I'm thinking about bringing in an Al City player. If when I wildcard, maybe just one. I have no City players.
Yeah, but I mean, who do you like? You look at this week. Diaz rested. I think right now, if I was to look at a City player, I'd maybe look at Cancelo. I think he's taken a back seat in the Champions League. So he got brought off at 60 minutes in the first leg. He didn't start tonight. He did start at the weekend, and Yeah, we know what he brings to the team. If I thought he was maybe holding back Walker, for further fixtures, I'd probably be looking at Cancelo. But to be honest with you, I'm not convinced. And as you said, transfers are precious. I don't know what kind of way he's going to be playing his squad. They've the league pretty much sewn up, and they're into the Champions League final. So I don't fucking know, Paddy. Like, what are you
gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, you're talking about bringing one in, like, but which one are you looking at? KDB, you were kind of talking about, was it?
No, I was just all excited about Mahrez there. Like,
Mahrez. I was like,
yeah.
I mean, Mahrez is actually kind of.
He's like the form player at the moment.
Yeah.
Ish.
In
Champions League.
That's it, isn't it? He always kind of comes into form. You bring him in, and then all of a sudden he's benched for 2 game weeks.
I reckon there's a few points in one of those City players yet. If you could just get the formula, like you know what to do. Like, you see who he plays at the Champions League, and then you nearly almost know. Okay, he's not playing. The kind of fringies. He's not playing. So if you could find the right formula there and I think there's a few points in a couple of those City players just before the end of the season.
No, you're 100% right. There is. I'll be damned if I'm the one to figure out where those points are, in the sense that, like, I'm with you. There's points in that City team. Is it going to be the Foden? Oh, look, of course, Phil Foden. He's had such a storming end of the season.
Yeah.
Is it going to go back to defence? Who knows? But it's going to be, it's definitely one that I think if you were being a bit loosey-goosey, or if you had your team nailed down and you're able to be a bit flippant with a transfer to, you might want to target that Newcastle, Brighton. I mean, Aguero got his first goal since coming back from injury this week. So, there's going to be people looking at getting on the Aguero train in one of those 2 fixtures. But, neither Jesus or Aguero started tonight, and what the fuck does that mean? Unless I was desperately searching to gain rank, and that's something that I don't think you are right now. I think someone that's 185k isn't, in a terrible position. It's, there's still 5 weeks that you can take a couple of swings, but not, you don't need to. It's not, your back isn't to the wall right now.
Exactly. Exactly.
But if I was sitting at, like, sub 500,000 and the season's already gone to shit, I wouldn't have any problems with, like, something like an Aguero or something.
No, you're right. And, like, going back to what I said before, transfers are precious now coming in. Fair enough, it was middle of the game week 2, or unless you're really chasing, and it means fuck all to you. But at the moment, head in the game.
Exactly. And before we move on to the special announcement we have for you this week, I wanted to touch on just a little bit of info, and it's probably minuscule in the big picture of things, but it got my eye, and that was Hasenhüttl basically coming out for Southampton. And you have McCarthy in your team. I can see him sitting there with a clean sheet, Paddy.
Bollocks.
Yeah. And you might be inclined to think that, oh, well, at least he's got a clean sheet now. Maybe I'll be able to play him next week, because if memory serves me correctly, Southampton have a double next week, Liverpool and Crystal Palace. So not the best double, but a home match against Crystal Palace, you take that any game week. So you might be inclined to play McCarthy. No, maybe not. Listen to Hasenhüttl. He's come out and he's said that basically he wants to give the keepers 2 games each, and that McCarthy's played the last 2, and he expects Forster to play these 2, and then he's going to switch back to McCarthy. So those with a Fraser Forster on the team, who I was one of until I wildcarded, might have been thinking, oh shit, I need to get a new goalie, because all of a sudden Leno isn't playing, Forster's not playing, Mendy might get rotated. What do I do? McCarthy takes Forster's spot, but Forster's coming back in apparently for the next 2. So, like, just a little heads up that, for the Forster owners, it's not all doom and gloom, and for McCarthy owners like yourself, King,
it's fuckery. It's complete fuckery.
It's skull fuckery is what it is.
Yeah, there's no way I'll be putting McCarthy in. Anyway, my other keeper's got a double as well. Matine's Manchester United, Everton. I'd rather see him get fucking ravagedly torn apart than put McCarthy in and see him only play 1 game, and that probably be the game against Liverpool, and get destroyed as well equally.
Yeah. I got rid of Martinez this week. It was a tough decision, but I think in the end, Villa's fixtures, they haven't given me, like as I said, they played great this weekend. But looking at United, Everton, Crystal Palace, Spurs, and Chelsea, all in the next 5, it's not really something I wanted a hold of, especially because I had 2 Villa defenders because I had my target. So I said goodbye to Martinez. It was sad, but we will be talking about him come the end of the season. And that brings me nicely to the big announcement. I've kept you all waiting since last week. We have been working on this in the background, and hopefully you're still around to hear. But next week, there will be... Or not next week. We're hoping for May the 17th, so possibly that Monday night Liverpool match.
This is massive.
This is absolutely massive. But ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you the first ever FPL Hangover Podcast Awards.
Wow.
So it's not exactly what it says in the tin. No, wait. It is exactly what it says in the tin.
Yeah.
A series of categories and voting and awards, basically everything that you'd expect. Nothing unique, nothing new. That's not what we do on this show. Okay.
Fucking massive awards ceremony.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. It's going to be a good crack. We're going to have a bunch.
It's £20 a ticket, and it's £50 if you want to jump on an hour earlier.
Yeah, an hour earlier, you'll get the insights, and you can share your tea with us as well, and we'll shoot it down. Yeah. But those watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see that lovely graphics that we had done up for it. It cost me a lot of money. I hired a very prestigious design team, and I'm very happy with the results. For those on audio, you'll have to just listen to...
Imagine it.
Imagine the best possible poster you could ever design. And that's what we have done. But yeah, May the 17th, basically for the Game Week 37 review, we're going to do an award ceremony where we have a list of categories. We'll be putting them on Twitter. If there is any categories that you think definitely need to be in, put it in the comments below. Or email it to us if you don't want to put it in the comments. Or if you're listening to this, fucking tweet it to us. Whatever you want, we're reachable. So give us some ideas if there's anything you think need to be in it. But we will have a bunch of... categories, some funny, some serious, and we also will have the return of FPL Drunk. Seamus is going to be back. Yeah, he's going to be back in studio. It's going to be our first menage a trois. Paddy, myself, and Seamus.
Wow.
We're going to... Are you excited about that? But
I'm so excited.
Big head.
I've missed his voice.
Yeah, I think
I was a listener. I miss listening to Seamus's voice. And he's just so perfect, isn't he?
Well, I mean, you just need to look at his game week or his overall rank, and he's not so perfect, if you know what I'm saying.
What's his overall rank?
I don't know. I think it's like minus shit. No, it's not too bad. It's probably in and around yours, Paddy. No offense. I'm trying to throw some daggers at him. But yeah, we're going to have him. We're going to have, obviously, Paddy's going to be here, and we're going to hopefully get a few more guest voices, videos, whatever way we can wrangle it, to jump on and maybe announce some of the winners. But do keep an eye out on social media. Make sure to subscribe and all that kind of shit, and that will keep you in touch.
And also, if you have anybody you would like to see announce an award, from the community, who get that, to put that in the comments as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they'll have to go through a very
serious don't go crazy.
Process.
Like, we don't want fucking... You what?
They'll have to go through a very serious vetting process by myself, regardless.
Oh, yeah. Like, don't be fucking getting fucking far-fetched and asking for leave from FPL family, because we aren't having that cunt on. But anyone else...
You would only love if you came on and read out an award and dedicated it to you.
I know.
That's how much of a fucking egomaniacal lunatic you are, Paddy.
I take it back already. I take it back. Lee.
Please, yeah.
Please, Lee. No, wait to get a drink.
All right, Paddy's out of here. But while he's gone, I think it's about time we moved off of the FPL Hangover Podcast Awards. But be sure to stay in touch and check them out in 2 weeks' time, I believe it is. So it'll be today, 2 weeks. And hopefully we get to hear from you. But that brings us nicely to Game Week 35 preview and the drunk tank. So, boom, there we go. Can a sip of beer for the working man.
Oh yeah.
Tell me, Patrick, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm on the Guinness, mate. I'm on the Guinness. What are you on yourself?
Oh, nothing to brag about. I am on Hop House, so real basic bitch shit this week. Leftovers from a mini barbecue that was held at the weekend. So I didn't want to take a trip to the shop. I was like,
I hear you, man. I hear you.
But yeah, that is bringing us nicely over to the drunk tank. And this week, first up is, you may have heard him before. He's a regular on the show, Paulie at Dehanio. He asks us, City locked up for the league, and the Champions League final is in sight. Diaz, KDB getting dropped. Is there anyone we can use from City that will consistently play Aguero maybe, or steer clear in the league? So he asks similar question for United. They also have the top four locked up, and they have a Europa League final on the horizon. So we know that City are pretty much in the Champions League final. We were kind of mentioning it not so long ago.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what we were talking about just before we got into the drunk tank.
Yeah, interesting. So it was. Yeah.
I would definitely, like, he mentions Diaz and KDB, and I suppose we were kind of chatting, and I was saying Cancelo. I mean, maybe I was getting a bit too far out my own hole there, but I suppose Diaz is actually the one that's most locked on, especially between now and the Champions League. Maybe they give him a match off, but he seems more than capable of seeing out the end of the season.
I like that. But let's delve really deep into this for 1 second, right?
Go for it.
You're Pep Guardiola now, okay? Your fucking biggest goal since you've come to City is to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
Right? Let's get into his shoes. And how the fuck do you not want to wrap KDB, all these superstars in cotton wool just till you get to that Champions League final? That's what makes it so hard for us FPL managers to predict, who to pick. Because I know if it was me, I'd be like, right, fucking this league's sewn up. We've got the bench that can go and fucking win this league. See, you guys, you're going to get 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there, keep your legs warm until we get to that Champions League final. It's going to be really hard to pick a nailed on City player that you can put all your hopes and dreams into to finish the FPL season, I think.
No, I think you're right. I mean, it is going to be tough, but yourself, players need match sharpness.
Exactly.
Yeah, Pep is he knows he wants these players to have a rhythm and to be. He doesn't want to be kind of wrapping them up too tightly, I suppose. So I suppose what you will see is a lot of rotation. Maybe the game is seen out. Someone's had their 60 minutes. Whip him off. Do you know, that kind of way? It's not the end of the world, and City can destroy a team in 15 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It can be 3 or 4-0 up. We've seen it before. So, it's not, limited minutes aren't the end of the world for City options. I suppose the question is are you able to take a benching on the chin? Or does it do your head in if he rotates? Because you just have to accept that that's a possibility. I think for me, Diaz, Aguero, not so much. I'd be too concerned with rotation with Aguero, and he's only got that. Was it 1 goal he got this week?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm the same with you, man. Aguero as well. He's going. He's leaving. An extra reason to wrap him up a wee bit. This is last season. If you're going to see anything from Aguero, it might be a fucking half an hour send off in the last game of the season. I think Aguero now is going to be just very sporadically used as well.
I don't know. He might I don't know if they'd wrap him up. I don't think if I'm to be honest, I don't think Pep gives a flying fuck about Aguero. So,
maybe you're right. Then.
Maybe just flogs him. But he could. I don't know. I just wouldn't want to be putting 11 million at the moment, 11 million ish, into a striker, and have him sitting on the bench. That's just too much money for the end of the season. If you really want to make some if you want to, when you want to put that money to use. But that's a personal thing. As I said to you, I don't know if it was on the pod or off air, but sometimes you might just want to start swinging, and that's fine too. I think City are perfect for that.
Ederson.
What?
Ederson.
Well, Ederson is like, he's
the only one.
They're probably the safest. Like we said it every time when it gets to City rotation. But I do think Diaz is going to see some. Because I think Stones is still suspended, if memory serves me correctly. He might have at least one more match to go. So Diaz is more than likely starting. If he doesn't start this week, he'll probably start the next two. That kind of way. 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. Jared, with City, it's all about, you can't answer it really on a podcast. You have to watch the fucking, you have to look at the team sheets, who he plays in the Champions League, and who he plays in the league, and then you can only like just about guess who he's going to play the next game. But it seems to be at the moment, whoever plays Champions League seems to get a little rest, and then whoever plays the Premier League gets it's the rotation is crazy, but it's like, I think Diaz there, like you said, was a great option, and for being nailed, like.
Yeah. I think, like, you talk about the looking for a rhyme and reason with Pep. I don't know. I've never had success with that. Managers would have had equal failure this week trying to predict Tommy Tuck's lineup, because I know you mentioned, he didn't play Champions League. A lot of people predicting that Marcos Alonso would have been starting this week, and I think he came off the bench for a 1-pointer. I got rid of him in the wildcard. I would have been devastated if I'd kept him and he had just not even started. You were fully sure. But I mean, I guess that's the joys of Chelsea and City being in the late stages of the Champions League. You're going to be worried about rotation. But with regards to United, they're not in the Champions League, but they do have a Europa final. Well, more than likely, obviously, still the second leg against Roma to go this week. But I think they're 4-0 on aggregate. Well, you know what I mean, 6-2, 4 goals up on aggregate. You'd imagine there should be a bit of a rest there. So I'm not too worried about loading up on United assets. I think this week and the week after, Paulie, they would be the most concern I'd be in, and then after that, I think Fernandes will play 3 out of the next 4, that kind of way. Maybe he gets 1 rotation. I think Cavani's probably going to play every second match, or 1 match a week if he's lucky. What about you, Petty? Greenwood?
I was listening to you there. I was just nodding my head. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I hope anyway that we rest some of our stars against Roma. That the job is more than done there. Bruno's pretty. We don't have a squad. It's like City's. Bruno, I think Cavani, 100%. You said there every second game or something. Greenwood's touch and go. I guess if you're spending the money on Manchester United players, you're looking at Bruno anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I don't know, we'll all be anxiously wait and see if he's rested. We'd love to see him rested on Thursday. I just have a bad. I just think he's going to play him. I think he's going to play him on Thursday.
Yeah, I think he might play him a half and maybe take him off and give Van de Beek gets a game. But for me, I've got Cavani and Bruno, and I'm happy enough just to go with that. But remember, I also have a wild card, and I'll be shedding some of those United, maybe Cavani, in a little while. But for now, I'm happy enough having him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I suppose we were talking about DCL and Watkins. You could just turn Cavani into DCL, which is what you did mention a while ago. But I hope that answers that a bit for you, Paulie. In regard, or in the next question, we have another local at DD. 1978A. He says, "Good day, gents. With all the uncertainty over fixtures lately, when is the best time for my bench boost chip? Also, which players should I target in said game week? I've made up 120 points on the leader in my mini league, and he's just 10 points. Yeah, he's just 10 points behind now. I assume that's massively due to us and our fantastic.
Of course. And if there's any money in that mini league, make sure to drop a tip into the." Do we have a tip jar? Patron tip jar? Not yet.
Nah, just
next season. Bye.
Yeah. Light a candle. Sarah.
Light a candle. Yeah. So he's got a bench boost still. Wow.
Yeah, I have a bench boost too, Paddy. This is we're kindred spirits, me and DD right now. Yeah.
But by the way, don't ever think a bench boost is some kind of secret weapon. I had 2 chips left chasing a mini league, last season on a guy at work, and I kept looking at him and in the office, and he kept looking at me, and I said, "I've got 2 chips. I'm coming for you. I'm not even worried about you." And he still fucking beat me. Like, so, don't you fucking chip fucking lovers get too cocky, because that bench boost is like, could be just gone.
No, I actually I know you're being mildly facetious, but like realistically, I think you're actually nailing the head, Paddy, because I have the bench boost I have the bench boost left, and I was I basically wildcarded in and around the idea of using that bench boost. Tried not to overcommit, got as cheap as I could to playing players that I could get. But like, you don't want to overthink it, Didi. I mean, you don't want to, for a start ripping up your team, especially if you've pulled it back to within 10 points. Like, the hard part's done. Now it's a flip of a coin. Like, 10 points is one fucking goal from a midfielder. So you don't want to be ripping your team up just to fit in a bench boost.
No way.
Yeah, no, you don't want to be doing that. But I mean, he goes like, which game week should he target? For me, it obviously depends.
Do you see his team?
I don't need to, Paddy. I don't actually good, but I mean, looking at just...
They all see an Oracle?
I am Sauron, But basically, I'm just thinking, like, there's only 4 fucking game weeks left, so I don't need to see a team in regards to which game week would I want to.
Yes, okay.
Like, it's the double game week this week, 35, or you wait until the Liverpool Man United announcement, if you can get that before the end of this game week, and then... use that to your advantage. It'd be one of those two for the bench boost. I think the only fun bit for me with the bench boost is getting multiple players out twice. Because other than that, it's not massive. I wish I'd fucking used mine earlier, I suppose, but I say that every fucking year. But yeah, I think my point is, Paddy, exactly what you're saying. The bench boost can fuck you up, so don't overthink it. Just whenever the fixtures align between now and the end of the game week or end of the season, probably just double game week, because you should have a few players playing twice. That's what I would be looking at. Don't expect it to be worth too much. You agree?
No, you're 100%. Jared, in a nutshell, wait till you get the fixtures. When the doubles arrive, get as many fucking players that are playing twice. That's the week to do it.
Yeah,
done.
Exactly. For what it's worth, I've loaded up on Everton. That could see me get... I got Seamus Coleman in this week. That's how...
Do you have Digne? Digne's starting to look a bit hot, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Digne, well, I mean, I don't think I could have Digne and Trent, but
no.
I think, like, if I didn't have an Alexander-Arnold, Digne would be someone I would be looking at. I think he got 7 points this week, even though they conceded 2. That's pretty fucking sweet. I went with the cheap one. That's probably going to bone me. I don't know if you can do the 2 matches in a week, but we'll see. Next question. I hope that sorts you out, Didi. It's from Nuclear Atoms, regular as well. He's changed his username. I noticed that. @particle_impact.
Jesus Christ.
So he better be
What was it before?
I think it was atoms_nuclear.
Okay. Is he a scientist or what? Or like a fucking Lex or what?
I think he's potential. That's what he is. He's unbridled potential.
I like him though. He always puts in a question from my short time here. I've noticed him as well.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Do you know what? I'm fucking following him. Because you know what? That's loyalty. What's his name again?
@particle_impact. You should find him pretty okay with that. But he asks this week, DCL, you're actually going to like the second part of his question, Petty. But the first part is DCL or Richarlison, who's more likely to get returns in both of their games? DCL for me.
Jesus Christ.
What are you, Jesus Christ? And what are you using the Lord's name again for?
Sorry, I can't find him.
I'll fucking ping him onto you. Find the questions tweet and you'll find it there. But DCL or Richarlison, who's more likely to get returns? Quick go, Betty. Gut instinct.
DCL or Richarlison?
Yeah.
That's a fucking mad question. I'm going DCL.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think...
DCL. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not overthinking.
No, I think DCL is...
Richarlison's a cunt.
And he's got a stupid fucking head in him as well. I'm all about the DCL. I'm hoping he has a strong end to the season. I think he fucked me over at the end of last season, though. Project Restart. I'm pretty sure I went with Everton then. Maybe I'm just not learning from my mistakes, but we're both going DCL nuclear. And the second part is, will King, Paddy, yourself, get a new contract for the next season, or is he unfortunately just an intern for FPL Drunk? So He's really
That's the question on everybody's lips.
Yeah.
Is that Nuclear Adams asking that?
That's Nuclear Adams. He's invested in
Imagine like he's invested. Does that maybe he wants to hear me next season?
Well, yeah, he said, unfortunately, is he just an intern? I think you can read into his adoration for you, Patrick.
Well, I really like this guy.
Yeah, you're going straight to the moon. In regards to next season, we don't know. We don't even know if there'll be an FPL Hangover next season. We're going to get to the end of this. We're going to bait out the award ceremony, season 4. We'll fucking have an old chinwag over the summer, I suppose, and see what the fuck's happening with that. But I'm
not fucking leaving.
Yeah, you're gonna have to drag me out of here, god damn it.
I'm not fucking leaving.
Over my dead hand. Yeah, Seamus. Yeah. Start sending threatening letters. Oh no. But yeah, I think you and Seamus can hash it out. I'll break a pool cue and I'll throw it down between the two of you virtually, and you can see what you get into. But no, I kid. Next question is from Lynn, #FPL, @Lynn_FPL. What's your gut feeling captaincy punt of the week? Not necessarily the one your head will eventually tell you to go with, but gut feeling captaincy punt. Yeah.
I love this question. You go first.
I'm going to go with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I know I was just raving on about him there, in the previous question, but West Ham, Villa, 2 away matches. I don't know. I'm just like, if I was to go with a punt, I think this could be, an end to a pretty decent season for him, and a good end to a pretty decent season. So he would be my gut captaincy, but I won't go with him. Obviously, it depends on the Liverpool thing, but as it stands, the likes of Fernandes would probably overshadow him. I need to see what way all these fixtures work out, but he's definitely probably going to have my vice captain at the end of this game week. What about you, Paddy?
Yeah, I'm just looking at my team, and it's a really difficult question to answer for me at the moment because things are going to change so much. The podcaster's curse. You talk about a whole fucking week of fixtures, and then the next thing they're all different. But at the moment, the one I'm really looking at as a different in my own team. Is the question is in my own team or is it just in general?
It's just a gut feeling captaincy punt of the week. I don't think it doesn't necessarily need to be in your team. I mean, if you have a better one.
Well, it has to be a double. It has to be a doubler.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, just for a bit of fun. Like, it obviously doesn't have to be a double, but who wants to captain a single player in a double game week? Like, fuck off for you.
Right, if I was captain a single player, I'm going to do 3. If I was captain a single game week player, I'd do Bale.
Okay.
What I'm really going to captain is probably going to be Fernandes.
Okay.
And my gutsy captaincy differential will be Vardy.
Yeah, I think Vardy's it's weird to call him a gutsy captain. I mean, like, my question would be, is Iheanacho a gutsy captaincy?
Yeah, that's good. I don't have him, but yeah, that's the alternative. Looking at Leicester, a doubler as well. Like, so I've got in my own team there's the 3 Vardy, Newcastle, United. I could see Vardy having a fucking field day maybe at Newcastle, and then he could easily get one at United. That's
the thing. I mean, Iheanacho against Newcastle is a lovely match. Or Iheanacho and Vardy, sorry. I mean, to use the two kind of almost in the same sentence. So Leicester, really want to be hoping that Newcastle match goes well. And then Fernandes is your classic, big hitter, great away records. And, you kind of, especially if he gets rested on Thursday evening, you're going to feel so...
Yeah, it's something to watch.
It's something to watch out for. But I think, for me, if I'm going gut feel and captaincy, something says DCL is going to keep that run going. But
may I ask you a question? A very personal question. You're now 25k in the world, that's fucking amazing. Out of 8 million players, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it is. I'm kind of focusing on trying to get break that 20k. I was 19k 3 or 4 weeks ago, so 25 is. It's kind of bugging me, as opposed to feeling
right. Okay, look, it's an amazing rank, though. Okay.
I mean, yeah. I think
for the mere mortals like myself listening, who's your captain going to be this week?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean, obviously,
that is the thing. That's the thing we want to know.
Yeah, I think looking at the fixtures right there, I might be leaning on Iheanacho. I think he's on such a run of form. If I'm feeling brave, like, and nothing changes between now and then, I think Iheanacho's on such a run of form. I have no doubt that he could score against United, which that's the fixture you're kind of expecting him to maybe blank in. Nah, he could easily score against United, and then that Newcastle match is great.
This is some big stuff. So, right, that's your brave captaincy. What's your shield captaincy?
Well, the shield would be Fernandes for sure. Right, okay. If Liverpool double, it's Salah.
When you usually feel brave, do you follow through or do you not?
I tend to not follow through.
Right.
No, I'm a chicken shit when it comes to FPL.
Okay. So it could be Fernandes then.
It could very well be.
Because this talk has got me. I got a little flinch down below now. I'm thinking, should I captain Vardy?
Yeah.
Reach for the stars, brother.
I think Vardy is just not a terrible captain shout at all. He's what he's capable of. Yeah, I'd have no issues captain Vardy. It's out of left field as well. Kind of way.
I have another question here, by the way, that came in just a second.
Go for it.
It's from me.
Okay.
If you had Cavani in your team, would you transfer him out for Iheanacho and go double Leicester, or do you think Cavani will play both the double game week fixtures? This is for Cavani owners all over the world.
I just wouldn't have Cavani in my team right now. I think that's the thing. Yeah, I'd be definitely going Cavani to Iheanacho. I mean, they both, if United double, then no, I'd keep Cavani. Or if United are playing in game week 36, I'd be less likely to get rid of him. But they're both blanking anyway. So especially if you can, it depends on what way you're working your wildcard. But I would I think Iheanacho is as close to a must-have in your team.
Leicester's got the blank, yeah.
In 36, yeah, Leicester are blanking in 36.
Interesting.
That's the thing. You don't want. You already have your Vardy, so you might not want to. But if you have that wildcard, you can kind of dead end your team a little bit, a tad, But I hope that answers your question, Paddy, and I hope that answers.
Thank you very much.
Everyone's questions tonight. Thank you for writing in.
Thank you for all the questions.
Yes. Before we go, we are going to quickly run through the FPL Hangover podcast mini league, and that's a mouthful. But
yeah, I
don't think there's been massive, uproarious shifts in the top 5. But Cameroon Arifin flying without Ings is still sitting at number 1. He had a decent week with 44 points. He's a nice 25 points ahead of second place Ken Rogues FC Ken Corbally. He's still smashing this season. FPL Renegades Drew Andy is right up there as well, 29 points. I'm in 4th. In 5th place is 20 Legend Bolster, is 27. And yeah, no massive shifts. I think in the top 5, only me.
Where am I? Did I break the top 10 yet?
No, you're still outside. You're still outside begging to come in from the rain. Maybe next season.
Thanks for asking me.
Yeah, but you had your moment in the sun. 70-point game week. It was all about you this week.
Yeah, it was fucking brilliant. I'm a brilliant FPL player.
You are, and you'll never be replaced.
I'll never be beat.
Yes, but that brings us to the end. Patrick, where can everyone find you on the socials? Tell us.
At FPL Viking _, and please follow me on Instagram, the Viking Dippers. I am now on 66 consecutive days swimming in the Atlantic Ocean. I am also doing a splash a day in May for the Irish Cancer Society. I've raised over €613 at the moment, and I've got the whole month to go. I'm looking to smash fucking $2,000 for the Irish Cancer Society, and I'm loving every single minute of it.
This is the first I've heard of this cancer fundraising thing. Where do I go to donate that shit?
You can find me on my Instagram at the Viking Dippers. If you type that in, it should come up, but it's also called FPL Viking on Instagram, but I think the Viking Dippers. We post daily swims in the water every day. It's a real positive, it's all about positivity, and fucking it's great, man. We go out there and we swim. Doesn't matter, rain, hail, or snow, we will be there. I'm on the road to 100, and I'm going to try and do 365 consecutive days, man.
That would be insane. And
I will fucking do it because I'm insane.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you. Fucking rooting for you. And I will be heading over to that link and throw a few pound that way.
Thank you very much.
If you want to check us out, you can reach out to us on Twitter at FPL Hangover. You can send us a Gmail as well. That's fplhangover@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to the show. Make sure to like, subscribe, share it with everyone you know, even if it's, spam. Just do it. Much appreciated. Let us know what you think of the episode down below. Enjoy game week 35. Keep an eye out for those fixture updates. And most importantly, Patrick and everyone listening, God bless.
May the 4th be with you.